Hey guys, Nolan Search here, and well, this is a video that's been in the works for a while, since before Sword and Shield, but for some reason or another, I kept pushing it aside for some reason, and I don't actually know why. I did finish the script for this video back since December, like a bit after Sword and Shield released, so I'm not really quite sure why I did push it back, but either way, here you go. I do hope you guys enjoy it. Pokemon has had so many villains. These villains are the ones that either make or break the stories that the game is trying to tell. So, here's my honest ranking for all the villains. Whether they were just poorly implemented, whether they were just poorly made, or if their beliefs were sort of stupid, which a lot of them sort of are. But I'm ranking them off their beliefs and how well their team represents their team. For example, like Team Aqua, like how well their personal team represents what the whole team's belief is. For example, Team Aqua uses a bunch of water types, so that fits the bill. And we're gonna go ahead and start the list off with a bit of an honorable mention, being Maxie. Maxie from Pokemon Omega Ruby, Alpha Sapphire, blah blah blah, Gen 3. Maxie was originally on this list, but I decided to take him off due to someone else who I believe had a very similar belief to him, and I overall enjoyed that character a bit more. You will see who that character is a bit later, and I will mention it just so you don't go throughout the whole video being like, wait, I don't feel like anyone represented Maxie's belief at all. Out of the two leaders in the Gen 3 games, I do believe that Maxie is the better one, since his belief makes a bit more sense than Archie's. Archie just wants to kill everyone. He's like, fuck it, let's go live out in the sea, cause I'm a fucking pirate. It's like, no, that's dumb. I'm sorry, but that's dumb. And well, Maxie, at least he wants to make more land, which that's honestly a plus. Most of our world's like 80% ocean, so adding a bit more landmass to that would be great. Of course he miscalculated and didn't realize how bad Groudon was actually gonna be. But anyway, that's it for the honorable mention. Let's go ahead and get started with the list. Number 7, Lysander, X and Y. Who doesn't like French Hitler? Alright, Nazi jokes aside, Lysander is kind of a dumb, forgettable villain. Yes, we all know this. But his ideology is what, to me, makes him stand out a bit from other villains. Sadly, that's not enough to get him out of the bottom of the barrel of this list. Lysander is the owner of Lysander Labs and the leader of Team Flare, and well, he seeks to do one thing, and one thing only, and that is to use the ultimate weapon in order to destroy everything that in his eyes isn't beautiful. But that wasn't what he always wanted. Actually, after defeating Flare, an NPC in Snowbell City, who is an old friend of Lysander, mentions that Lysander had noble intents and did his best to help people in need, but eventually was convinced of humanity's stupidity, along with his own limitations, which resulted in him becoming a words on the fucking screen, I don't know how to say this. So Lysander is honestly sort of relevant in a sense. But, well, I mean, he did try to go on a murderous rampage, so he's not that relatable. But enough of that. Let's go ahead and check his team. And I honestly think it is perfect for representing what he stands for. A beautiful and elegant team to represent his flair for fashion, and also a touch of regalness to represent his lineage. He is part of a royal lineage since AZ's little brother was his ancestor, meaning that he does have royal blood. And to top it off, a Mega Evolution fit for a king, Mega Gyarados. The team he leads isn't really a representation of fire, how most people would like to imagine, but is more of a representation of fashion flares or beauty flares. So it makes more sense for them to not have fire types, since the flare in Team Flare doesn't stand for a fire. It stands for more of a fashion flare. But, well, at least that's how I see it. Anyway, moving on. Number 6, Chairman Rose, Sword and Shield. Now, hear me out. This is who kicked Maxie out of the list. And I get it, Sword and Shield isn't really loved. I personally don't love it that much. I do think it's a cool game, but it still belongs in the trash bin. But whatever. The story for Sword and Shield is, you know what? If you want to know how I feel about Sword and Shield, go check out my rant with Last Unicorn Oz, and you will be able to see exactly how me and her feel about this. Anyways, moving up along, Sword and Shield doesn't really have a fucking villain team, but it does have two things. Team Yell, who honestly act like the longest gym challenge ever and start pestering you after you beat the 7th gym. Spoiler alert, they're just gym trainers from the 7th gym. I guess you wouldn't really notice if it's your first time playing the game. And Macrocosmos, the biggest business collaboration in Galar. Collaboration standing for companies made out of a lot of businesses, blah blah. And well, the head honcho of Macrocosmos is none other than the chairman of the Pokemon League, Chairman Ross. That's honestly pretty cool. And well, I personally don't see him that much of a villain. I do understand the game tries to portray him as a villain, but I mean, at the end of the day, he is like Maxie. He's just trying to do the right thing, but miscalculates. What he ends up doing that is very similar to Maxie and miscalculating is that he just wants to set up for the future. Unlike Maxie, who wants to just build land, he wants to find an unlimited power source so that the region will always have power, since he knows the impending future of his region losing power. And sure, he almost killed the whole region in the process, or maybe the whole world. He wasn't aware of that until it was too late. And well, he did put all his trust in the champion, who, of course, the champion is gonna save us. Oh no, the champion lost. But well, the MC was there to save the day, so everything was good. Plus, the guy does turn himself in after the battle, which just shows off that in the end he understood he effed up, and should have kept searching for a way to get unlimited power that didn't involve a fucking legendary Pokemon that almost destroyed the region in the past. And I think his team fits really perfectly. It's mostly steel types, and well, he did used to work as a miner, but I do think having a steel ground type like Exordill would have made it a bit better, and would have given him more of a chance against fire types, but his team's alright. Also, it was nice to have a change of pace to have him welcoming us to the world of Pokemon instead of the professor. Number 5, Mirror B, Pokemon XD. Alright, before anything, let's calm down and let me explain this one in particular. At this point of his life, Mirror B is the leader of Team Mirror, which consists of him and 2 other people. And well, that's enough to make it a team, since they do have a purpose. And that purpose is to, drumroll please, own all the Pokemon in the world. Team Mirror qualifies for the list. It is my list. Fuck all of you. On the number 5th list, we get the legend Mirror B. He is an amazing character, and his design is a reference to the king of pop, Michael Jackson. He has a huge double-colored afro, and his personality is amazing. And his theme song is a banger. And his team of 5 Ludicrotos that will not stop dancing, and that one Shadow Dragonite are all sick as fuck. Also, did I mention his sick-ass music? What the hell? That is such a great theme. But in all seriousness, I needed to find a way to represent the spin-off games. More specifically, Colosseum and XD. And Mirror B was the best candidate. In Colosseum, you don't meet the true leader of Team Cypher, so the main antagonist in the game doesn't really make the cut. And in XD, you do meet the true leader, but he's Greeble, a creepy old man that does control the best shadow Pokemon in the game, Shadow Lugia, and the 3 birds in their shadow form. I don't really like him. And Mirror B is the character I remember the most of these games. Whenever someone says, hey, you ever played Pokemon Colosseum and XD? I'm always like, Mirror B. Such a great person. And, well, he also has a bunch of growth. In Colosseum, he was a Cypher Adam, and I think in between Colosseum and XD, he does end up leaving and making his own team. So mad respect to Mirror B. Also, that theme song hits hard! Number 4, Cyrus, Diamond, Pearl, and Platinum. Cyrus. A man after my own heart, wanting to control time and space in order to destroy the whole universe, and start it again as its god. Cyrus is the nihilistic and I don't know how to pronounce it, words on the screen again. An emotionless leader of Team Galactic. He believes that emotions are the source of all conflicts and Sawaldo! Sorry about the mic hit. And aims to create a world without emotions and spirit by using the power of the creation trio, Dialga, Palkia, and eventually Garantina. We actually get a bit of backstory for Cyrus, and even a confirmation of his age. Looker tells us Cyrus is age 27 while in Veilstone. What we know from Cyrus before becoming the man we know him as is that he was born and raised in Sunnyshore's City, in the Sinnoh region. He was known to be a good, although antisocial student, and preferred the company of machines over that of people in Pokemon. Even though he was a good student, he didn't meet his parents' expectations, and this in turn made him feel rejected, which is what made him start changing his beliefs, and turn into the man we know him as. After his defeat at the hands of the player in the distortion world, he stays in that world and vows that someday he will create his world without spirit. Sadly, his team doesn't really represent what he stands for, or have any hidden meanings. It's mostly a flying dark team, which I believe all his Pokemon have a rock type weakness, and on that note, let's just go ahead and move on to the next person on the list. Number 3, N. Before we begin this one, I do want to state off that this list was originally supposed to just be organization members, and not originally be a pure villains list. I do understand N isn't a villain, but I just didn't really feel like changing up the list at this point. And obviously I don't really like Getz's that much. He feels like a carbon copy of another character that is a bit higher up this list. So we're just gonna stay to what I had originally written. I'm sorry if you sort of dislike that, but didn't feel like changing one of the higher top spots. N. Black, White, Black and White 2. Natural Harmonia Gropius, or N, is the puppet leader of Team Plasma during the events of Pokemon Black and White, and one of the most tragic characters in the whole series. Orphaned as a child and left in the forest where he was raised by Pokemon, until a man named Ghetsis finds N and claims to be his father. Ghetsis raises him to be the king of Team Plasma, and as a child, he was isolated from humans and was only able to interact with Pokemon that have been hurt by humans. His goal is that where he can separate the Pokemon and the humans so that Pokemon will never be hurt again. N's first interaction with the Pokemon that wasn't hurt by humans was with the MC starter. This makes N interested in the MC. N is probably the team leader you battle the most, a total of 5 times, and he is the youngest leader, 18 to 20 in Black and White, and 20 to 22 in Black and White 2. N's final battle is extremely well done, with one side fighting for truth, and the other for ideals. Each dragon that represents that joins the fight depending on the version you have, and will either have Reshiram, White, or Zekrom, Black, and you will battle him with the opposing dragon. It is an intense battle, but once the dust settles, the MC stands victorious, and Ghetsis reveals the truth to N and to everyone. After you defeat Ghetsis, which, push him out of here, M takes off with his dragon and leaves, not to be seen until Black and White 2. Team Plasma splits into 2 sides, one that follows Ghetsis and one that acknowledges N as a true king of Plasma. Lastly, before we move on, his team, or teams in this case, since he changes them in between every encounter with him, are great. It suits his character so well, with the whole point being that Pokemon should be free. It's widely believed that he releases every team he has and gets a new one by asking the Pokemon in the area around for help. Which makes sense, since a lot of Pokemon that he uses, which are those that are around in that area, so you can actually end up catching and using his team against him. It's actually really fun to do. Wanna see what destruction looks like? Well, here it is in its human form. Number 2. Sun, Moon, Ultra Sun, and Ultra Moon. It's your boy, Guzma, the leader of Team Skull and the strongest bug-type trainer ever. He even goes as far as acquiring every single Bugium Z crystal so that no one can use them, not even himself. Guzma. He thinks very highly of himself, and he has the ability to back it up. His only recorded losses were against the MC. Sadly, unlike the previous 2 trainers and in series, we don't really get that much info on Guzma. The games don't tell you much, and if you go to his parents' house in Route 2, you can find some display trophies awarded to Guzma for winning Pokemon battles. At some point, after being in his island trial, he runs away from home, which honestly isn't really that big of a deal. If we're being honest, I'm pretty sure most trainers do that since they go on an adventure on their own anyway. Guzma aspired to become an island captain, but for some reason wasn't able to. My guess it has to do with something with being part of a group centered around a previous Kahuna, but after it was struck down by the wrath of one of the guardian deities, he became the leader of this group, and, well, this group became Team Skull. Guzma's portrayals in the game is that he's a reject of society. He's tired of the way Alola does things, and he's tired of their traditions. He wants to bring down their whole society, but we don't get to see how that goes, since Guzma teams up with Lusamine and helps her in her plan to acquire the Ultra Beast for her collection. His reasoning for teaming up with her, or more like serving her, was cause she acknowledged his strength. After her defeat, or in Ultra Sun and Moon, Ultra Necrozma's defeat, he sees the error in his ways and disbands Team Plasma and vows to defeat the MC one day. In the postgame, Guzma returns home, and if the MC visits him, he will ask for a rematch down on the beach. Once he loses to the MC once again, the Kahuna Hala comes and takes Guzma under his wing once again. Apparently, Hala is Guzma and the Professor's master. Who would have thought? Before Guzma leaves though, he gives the MC a Dawn Stone and says it's sort of a lucky charm for him. Now, his team is exactly what you would expect from the best bug-type trainer, consisting of his ace, Glaciopod, Vickabolt, Masquerade, Prancer, and Scyther. Even though his team is pure bug-type, it does have coverage to all its weakness, and making it pretty damn strong actually. Guzma's only true weakness is that he doesn't use held items. He has the potential to use 10 out of the 28 Z crystals, 11 of those being certain Pokemon exclusive ones, and he has not one but two potential Mega Evolutions, Mega Scizor and Mega Pinsir. We know he has a C-Ring somewhere around since he started the Island Trials, so his refusal to use hold items is in turn his own downfall. Number 1. You should have seen this one coming. Giovanni. Red, blue, green, yellow, leaf green, fire red, let's go Pikachu, let's go Eevee. Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon. Faith is just another worthless lie. He will live his life a godless soul gangsta. Giovanni, the leader of Team Rocket and Rainbow Rocket, and the gym leader of Viridian City, and the first villain of the series as a whole, and genuinely the coolest one of them all. He doesn't want to change the world. He doesn't want to rule the world. He doesn't want to better the world. All he wants is money and power. He's just a gangstar. Until Ultra Sun and Moon versions came in and changed that a bit, but whatever, that's for later. He is also the self-proclaimed strongest trainer ever, which makes me like him even more. His charismatic personality and his strength as a ground-type trainer got him to where he is before the events of the first Pokemon game, Red and Blue. He had already been actively stealing Pokemon, selling Pokemon, and he got his organization to manufacture the strongest Pokemon ever, Mewtwo, which is fit for the strongest trainer ever. Now, before the events of Red and Blue, he loses control of Mewtwo, and it's theorized that everything he did throughout Red and Blue was to regain control of Mewtwo, stealing the Self-Scope so he can see the psychic waves through the world, or I guess through the region, trying to get the Master Ball so he can just catch Mewtwo. It's just a theory, but I think it makes sense. He is defeated by Red and disbands Team Rocket, but remnants of Team Rocket regroup and fight to attempt to get Giovanni back in Silver and Gold, which I think that is super cool, because that means he's so charismatic that even though he personally disbanded the team and he was like, hey, we're not doing this, everyone leave, people were still like, no, we're gonna get you back, we're gonna make it better, we're gonna get everything back, we're gonna get the gang together, and our organization will be back, our team will be back. And well, he did hear the cries. He genuinely did hear the message that Team Rocket was giving out to him, and he had every intention to return, but thanks to Celebi, Gold, and Crystal, Giovanni doesn't return to Team Rocket, and Team Rocket ends up staying dissolved. Next time we do see Giovanni is in the World Championship tournament in Unova. He doesn't really do anything, he just battles as the self-proclaimed strongest trainer ever, which I think is fucking funny, because, he's already lost a couple of times to both Red and Gold. And finally, the last time we see Giovanni is in Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, where we see the Giovanni from another universe where he actually wins. He defeats Red, and well, Gold never happens since Team Rocket's still around. And well, I mean, he wins. He has all his Pokemon in Master Balls, meaning that he also took over Self-Cope, so I don't know where he defeated Red exactly. And he also has Mewtwo on his team with a Mega form, which that also signifies that he formed a bond with Mewtwo, since there's 3 things that are needed for Mega Evolution: Keystone, the right Mega Stone, and the bond between the trainer and the Pokemon. Well, that's fucking wild. And, well, with all the power that he has at that point, he starts taking over his world. Because, you know, you just let power go up to your head and start doing things that you usually want to do. He does end up teaming with Faba from the Aether Foundation and gets the other villains from other universes where they won, and creates Rainbow Rocket. Sadly, Rainbow Rocket does end up losing and makes the Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon protagonist the strongest MC, if we're being real, since that protagonist defeats everyone on this list except N and Rose, because Rose didn't exist at this point and N technically isn't a villain. Oh, also Mirabee, because spin-offs aren't included for some reason. And well, just to check out his team, like I said, well, his team doesn't really make sense to what he believes, but it makes sense for his gym, since he is a mono type trainer. He is the ground type trainer, gym leader from Kanto, and well, so meaning that it's purely ground-based, except for Mewtwo, who is considered his ace nowadays, but I personally see his ace either being Nidoking or Rhydon. But that's not for me to decide. I generally do love Giovanni, and I do believe he is the strongest and coolest out of all the leaders, or of any organization in the series. Anyway, that was my list. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and let me know your thoughts. If you think someone else deserves to be on this list on top of anybody else, if you want to fight me over Giovanni being the best, let's go ahead. I'll be in the comment section. Anyway, please make sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. I'll see you guys next time, and well, have a great morning, since I decided to not catch any sleep and just go ahead and record this. Bye!